So today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the secret reason that men or lads start training or start on their fitness journey. And that sounds a very clickbaity or very hooky, but hear me out. It's not just about the fat loss. And this is based on my own experience for why I got into lifting weights or why I got into fitness or, movements, is because it wasn't just about physique, which was part of it. There's a few things that we want to uncover. So there's 5 things really that I did at the start of my journey, and this is probably resonating with you as well. So number 1 is confidence. The biggest one, the one that everyone wants. They want to feel more confidence in themselves. And obviously that transfers into other things, which we'll come on to, confidence in other areas. But 9 times out of 10, it starts with, I don't like the way I look, or I don't feel confident at the way I look. I want to change that. So that's where it always stems from. And for me, I've never been overweight. Mine came from feeling really small. So I was really skinny. I was 6'3" when I was like 17, and I was like 70 kilos. So if you put that together, I was very, very small. And that was, again, affected me confidence because I didn't fill out a t-shirt, or I didn't feel comfortable in certain clothes, or, I just didn't feel the best that I could have. Even though I was fighting and stuff like this, which again was part of the reason I did that, was to build confidence, the biggest confidence building in the world was getting in the ring with someone and having a fight. But then getting in shape for me was about not being that small 17 skinny kid, lanky kid, and adding tissue. And what this basically did was it made me, point number 2 is, be taken more seriously. And this is something that I think we all crave, especially as guys, is that we want to be taken more seriously, whether that's in our personal life, i.e., again, one of the points is girls, or it might, or lads, with whatever way you are, or it might be professionally, so it might be in work or business or the boardroom or whatever, or having the confidence to, walk down the street and not feel like you're going to get jumped, like walk down the street and feel, in control of what you're doing and who you are. It is massively important. So number 1 is confidence in your body, confidence in your belief, confidence in the way you look and how you handle yourself, which I think is massively important. And again, it transfers into the things that we're going to talk about. So number 2 is, again, not being taken serious enough. And what I found from point number 1 is, when I was a teenager, before it was even the fighting thing or Thai boxing, I was small, i.e. skinny. I was like 60, 70 key-ish, around there, but I was tall, so I was really slim, slender, lanky, and I wasn't no one. I didn't have any sort of, I was good at football, and that was about it. Whereas when I got into fighting, or I say fighting, and it's not like Fight Club, it's like training properly, discipline, controlled fighting, Thai boxing, BJJ, wrestling, etc. That massively built up my confidence, and then it made me feel worthy enough. People started to take me a little bit more seriously, and I don't know if it's because I was quite good at it, or whether it was just like, they look at it and look up to you as a little bit of inspiration of, oh, he's doing that, or, it might be in the way that I built confidence through myself, which allowed me to feel like I should be taken more seriously, if that makes sense. And I think that definitely happened, and it still happens to this day. And since that day I stepped into the gym for the first time, it's never changed. And then the other thing is not taken seriously in like professional life. So if you fast forward, walking into a meeting, say you've got your own business or you work for someone else, someone's going to take you more seriously if you are confident, if you're in shape, if you look after yourself, you've got like a demeanor about you. Whereas, walking into somewhere and I don't know if this person has the same values as me or whatever. I think it's massively important. And if you go back to a couple of podcasts ago with Martin, we spoke a little bit about this and about being taken seriously by being in shape because of the values that it comes with it, i.e. discipline, i.e. structure, i.e. consistency, i.e. personal development, all these different things which are traits of a successful, in my eyes, person. So number 1 is confidence. Number 2 is not being taken serious enough, was the reason for starting. Number 3 is girls, or other partners, or attractiveness is like, that's a big one. I didn't have the confidence to go and speak to a girl because I wasn't confident in the way I looked. So why am I trying to get them to like me when I don't even like the way I look? So that was a big one. And again, it's the same thing with everyone, and people might say that it's vanity, but my saying is it's self-love. Like, you want to be able to love yourself so much in the sense of your confidence. You've got a good demeanor. You've got good values of yourself that you've got the confidence to go and speak to anyone or own a room or jump on camera or whatever it is. But it was definitely like when I was younger, I wasn't very confident around girls. It was like, oh, I want to change this. And how do I do this? Was through gym, going, getting bigger, gaining muscle tissue, again, building out my frame, taking it a little bit more seriously, and building confidence. So all of them three things combined into one. Number 4, again, discipline. I think this is something that a lot of guys lack or wish they had more of, was discipline. And discipline is not easy. Discipline is difficult, as it says, like getting out of bed when you don't want to do it, doing difficult things, going to the gym consistently. Like if I was to say to you right now, turn up 4 or 5 days a week, go to the gym every single day, every single week for the next 5 years, and you'll probably be similar to where you want to be. It sounds mad. It sounds far off. It sounds like, oh, what's the point in that? But if you do that, it will work. It will happen. You'll get to where you want to be. Same with like fat loss or anything like that. You know, discipline with your nutrition. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's difficult and there's some things that are out of your control. But discipline for me is like, it's the same as consistency. Turning up, doing the things you want to do, even when you don't want to do them. And doing that over a long period of time, even on good days, even on bad days, even when shit hits the fan, like still doing it. And that builds a sort of discipline. And I don't know if it was from Thai boxing specifically or from weightlifting or going to the gym, but discipline then transferred into everything else that I did. School, being disciplined to study when I needed to study, discipline with finances, you know, should be spending that when I've got this, or I want to save this, or I want to, you know, set myself up for the future. Like delayed gratification comes into that sort of thing. And then in business, I'm being disciplined around, you know, what I'm doing in terms of patience, setting this up, you know, working for myself, having discipline with that, and getting up at the right time and doing 8 to 12 hours of work per day, and not just slacking because it's my business and I've got loads of time to myself. So number 4 is discipline. So we've had confidence, not taking seriously enough, girls, ultimately, discipline, which is number 4. And the last thing, which I spoke about recently, was hard things, doing hard things. Like, as I said to you, there's something special about doing something that you don't want to do. And again, that sounds like a psychotic saying, doing things that you don't want to do. But I guarantee the process of doing something that you don't want to do is the best feeling in the world. As I said, whether it is a marathon, whether it is booking something out of your comfort zone like a Tough Mudder, whether it's walking up a mountain, whether it's running up a mountain, like something that I want to do, because I know that'll be absolutely horrendous, but I think it'll be fun. I think it'll push, you know, challenges. It'll make you think about yourself more. Doing hard things, and that's one of the reasons that I did want to do it, because when you do hard things for yourself, whether it is stepping in the gym for the first time and having that gym anxiety, is a hard thing. Like stepping into the ring for the first time is a hard thing. Stepping out, you know, taking that job opportunity, which is a hard thing to do. Letting go of that old relationship, hard thing to do. Whatever it is, doing hard things will ultimately make the rest of your life easy. So I say it is hard now, easy later, or easy now, hard later. You decide. And the biggest analogy for this is probably health. And again, this sounds really biased, obviously, because I'm a health expert, but later on in life, people start because they get ill, or they have a scare, or they get a scan, or whatever it is. Then they start to look after themselves. Whereas if you start to look after yourselves now, it's a preventative for that to happen down the line. So that's exactly the right analogy of easy now, don't worry about it, put it in the back of your mind, something happens in the future. Or hard now, do the things that you don't want to do, build that discipline, build that courage, do all these things, which makes it easier later. So these are the things that you really got to look into. So the 5 things that you want to focus on is confidence, not taking seriously enough, girls, discipline, and doing hard things. They're the reasons that I started my journey, and they also might be the reason that you should start yours. And if you want to kickstart your journey, we have a 7-day Tryb Prime program. So what this is a completely free program. We set you nutrition up, we send you training programs up, we send you habits formation, out to eat out at the weekend, completely free. We walk you through that from day 1 right the way through to day 7. If you want access to that, just DM me the way to kickstart or comment kickstart, and I'll fire it straight over.